Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
You know, when we first got these headphones, the first person to wear them was Chris Potter. And then I informed Potter that those were my headphones. The problem is, they are so... I don't know how to make them. I mean, they feel like if it weren't for this stop here, it would just keep going down and they'd look like earrings. What?
Fix them.
Fix them? How do you make it tighter? Do you know what I mean? Tighter.
Oh.
Because that big round head of his.
Right.
I'm blaming it on Potter.
His fault.
I mean, if I shake my head wildly, they'll fall off. That's not supposed to happen. Excuse me, I obviously got up on the wrong side of the bed. Oh, but thank you for having me get up at all. Good morning. I spent the weekend successfully dodging that crazy weather that was out there, but didn't seem to do much around here. Even though the forecasters, again, they're just wrong. Why do we... I don't know. I was in Philadelphia this weekend and managed to get in there and out, just sort of dodging parts of the storm. Got out yesterday within probably 15, 20 minutes of the Philadelphia airport shutting down. And I just want to say this. I have one more complaint, and then I'll try to get more congenial. By the way, good morning. It is the 9th. Good God, it's the 9th. Oy. I'm just thinking of this thing that I have to... Tis the season to be, I don't know, discombobulated. So I just want to get this one thing off my chest. Good morning. That's not it. Airline travel is not pleasant anymore. It's hell. No, it's not hell. Let's not exaggerate. It is extremely unpleasant. And it's so sort of bizarre in many ways in which the airlines have configured it and nickel and dime you and screw you around, and that it's funny on one level. So if you're in a relatively good mood, you can almost laugh. But I have to say that when a situation imposes upon everyone a measure of discomfort and unpleasantness, I think the true character of the individual trapped in that situation comes out. And so I found myself in a seat on an airline, and the gentleman sitting next to me, when I saw him walking down the aisle, I thought, oh, you poor dear. He had to be 6'7". His legs just kept going. And as he had the seat next to me and at the window. And when I sit in an airline seat, my knees are up against the seat in front of me. I have long thighs. And there's I can't even cross my legs. They're just sort of stuck there. And I thought, how the hell is this guy going to even sit there? What happens to his knees? And I was very curious to see what happened to, how does he sit in this seat? And what he did, he sort of managed, he sat way as far, pushed himself back, and his knees were really into the seat in front of him, and he sort of like splayed his legs a little so he could sort of straddle the seat in front of him. Because otherwise he couldn't possibly have fit. Now, there are, of course, other people who have a different problem. They're not vertically challenged when it comes to fitting in an airline seat. They're horizontally challenged, which is not just a challenge for them and a potential humiliation for them, but it is also, of course, it is not desired to have a person of girth seated next to you. And anyone who says otherwise is lying. So, there we are, this giant guy and me, and we're both managing to sit. And we take off, and no sooner are we in the air than the gentleman in front of me, of course, does what I consider unspeakable. You're ahead of me here. He reclines his seat all the way back. The minute he started doing it, I almost yelped in pain because I'm getting this seat pushed into my knees. And what did I do? I did what anyone would do. I pushed back. I just sort of I thought, I'm not letting you do this. I'm pushing. So there's this he's pushing back, and I'm pushing with my knees because my knees, frankly, don't have anywhere else to go. Now, here's where you would think someone who makes a living, or sort of, as a talk show type would not be a shrinking violet. But believe it or not, I am when it comes to such things. I hate creating any kind of discord. And I thought he's got to know that the person behind him is struggling, or certainly pushing back a little bit. It didn't deter him at all. And if it were a flight to L.A., I would have said something. But I thought, all right, big deal. It's an hour at the most, and, you're just going to manage. And I really think, and I know other people might think otherwise, just because airline seats still go back does not mean that you should employ that ability. Unless you're a total jerk. And that's the nicest word I can use. I would never consider it unless the seat behind me was unoccupied. I would not consider it. And here's the hardest part about it. This SOB reclines his seat, then spends almost the entire time of the flight seated where he's bent forward. He's not back. He's forward over his tray table working on something. I don't know what he was doing. He was not even employing the reclined back. So I think I have said such a thing before, but I want to reiterate it. In case you hadn't figured this out, if you are a seat recliner, you're a jerk. That's all I'm telling you. You are a jerk. There! I wish I could say I felt better. It does. I think the airlines have created the kind of situation where some people's reaction is it's everyone for themselves, because it does feel like a hostile environment. And I suspect this guy thinks I'm staking out my own territory. Screw everybody else. Hello, caller.
Hey, sorry to interrupt your story. I just want to ask you a quick question, and I'll let you go. Did he know that you were resisting him pushing it back? Was he aware of that? Thanks. Bye.
Bye. I don't see how he could not have been, since he had to have felt the resistance. I mean, he'd push a little and you're suggesting that he thought maybe the seat didn't work? It still doesn't release him from being a jerk. The very act of attempting or actually reclining one seat on an absolutely crowded airplane is the act of a self-centered jerk. There's no other possibility. As I said, the only excuse it's not an excuse. The only situation in which you can do that and not be a jerk is if there's no one behind you, or if there's a small child that wouldn't notice. And even then, I would turn around and ask. I would. Airplanes are really incredible. They're really incredible. And the seating process now is so funny. Someday I have to write it all down. Because, all right, we are about to board. Those who need extra time in boarding, we can board anyone now who needs extra time. Well, they don't even define that anymore. It used to be people with young children and maybe the elderly. And now when they say that, some people get up, and these are the brazen. These are the ones who think it's everyone for themselves, and they just go. And I suppose if you have a person doing the checking in who's more of a push back kind of person, they could say, and why do you need to get on? You look perfectly okay. But they don't generally. So those are people that take advantage and just go. The rule followers are the ones that get screwed. And that's the lesson that people learn as they observe. Oh, I see. If you're following the rules, you get screwed. And the reason there is such a rush to be one of the first on is, of course, because of the airlines as well, nickel and diming, and now charging for checked luggage. So people are... I heard of one person who wore 3 different sets of clothes when they travel. So that's 3 sets of clothes the person has on. And then they can fit the rest of what they need in something that'll fit in the overhead. And then they have other things that they figure they'll slide underneath. But so people come on with all this crap, and they're desperate. There's not enough room on the plane to take all this crap. And so you want to get on early to get a chance to get your crap in the overhead. So it is a premium to be seated first or second or third or fourth. If you're 10th, 11th, and 12th, forget it. Odds are your bag, even though it's a carry-on, ain't coming with you. I mean, it's not going to be in your possession. It will be, excuse me, we will have to have this. And it may or may not make your destination. And you may have to, go into baggage claim if you were trying to. Unbelievable. So now it is really, you can see the game starting. People start lining up, ready to elbow people aside. The scrums around the gate that occur. This is human behavior. I'm surprised, and maybe there are, what would they be? Psychologists, anthropologists, sociologists that would camp out and study, camp out in airports and study the behavior of the public, of the flyers as they board, because the sort of you're in this atmosphere in which some people just, their inner jerk surfaces immediately. An atmosphere created by the airlines. And it doesn't stop once you get on the plane. But they do this absurd thing. So some people pay for access, pay for priority. That is the term. Priority seating. So if you pay a little more up front, you'll get in one of the elite groups to get sandwiched into the plane before the other sardines come in, a minute or two behind you. And so they say, and now for our golden platinum gazillionaire access people, you are free to board. And then a whole bunch of other people come up. And I always look at them and think, geez, how do you, well, maybe those are people who travel for a living, so they've got tons of miles, and that results in a certain status. But then after them, there's about 5 other levels of priority seating. And they all involve metals. Again, you start with premium platinum, and you go to gold and silver and bronze and tin. But at the airport in Philly yesterday, what was funny is that they said after the first few, then they lumped a whole bunch of them together. And now we are boarding our silver, bronze, and tin priority. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. If you paid the silver price, you wouldn't be too happy that the tin people were getting on with you, now would you? So this stratification is created immediately. And I don't know. It used to be a bus was considered like a low status way to travel. I have to tell you, you are better treated on a bus, and you are sure as hell more comfortable than on an airplane. I just find airplane travel horrific. Anyway, I just wanted to say, excuse me very much. I'm sorry. I didn't know I got up on the wrong side of the bed till I started talking to you, because frankly, I hadn't talked to anybody until I talked to you, except for Jess, who's here on her deathbed. Dang it. All right, so here's something else that caught my eye. It's an ad. It was in the Post-Gazette. I will not mention the people who are doing the advertising. It's some doctors. I just want to ask you what you think this is an ad for. I believe it was on page 2. Yes, page 2. They paid top dollar of the Tribune Review Sunday. Here we go. First of all, there's a picture of a young, lovely woman making really good eye contact with you. And it says this: we all want to look and feel vibrant, youthful, and beautiful. However, our faces are just the beginning. Even the most private parts of our body can affect our self-confidence and body image. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. So, anybody, can you figure out what this is an ad for? Jess, as you heard that, were you listening? Yeah. Okay, so it says we all want to be youthful and beautiful. However, our faces are just the beginning. Even the most private parts of our body affect our self-confidence. What the hell do you think this is an ad for? I'm sorry, I'll leave you alone. She's not feeling well. Jess's response is, I don't really want to know, which is about as good a response as I can think of. Anyone else? Because when I read on and saw what this was for, I went nuts. But maybe it's something that I just don't comprehend. So this could be, my reaction could be based in true ignorance here. But first of all, I will say this is it is, I said it's doctors, so it is plastic surgeons advertisement. And what do you think it's for? Anybody? I'll give you a little time, and as I give you a little time, I'm going to go to Colette, who has emailed about flying. Lynn, when we fly to San Francisco, when we flew probably to San Francisco, a little bitty old guy in front of my 6'3" husband tried to recline his seat. My husband put his hands on the seat and prevented it. So your husband just literally pushed back with his... But you do that. Well, you could do that for a long, long time. The little bitty guy in front must have given up pretty quickly. But this guy in front of me, he wasn't going to give up. So, and she says, yeah, the guy gave up. Thank God. Colette suggests maybe it would be easier to take the train to Philly. Well, you know what? No, it's not. Because the train between here, I went in for a board meeting. I'm on the on this board, the state board of the ACLU, and we have people who come from all over the state to the meeting. I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he came in from Harrisburg on the train, and he said it was a little less than 2 hours. Well, since Harrisburg's the one that's right in the center, is Harrisburg in the center of the state? Or is that State College is in the center of the state? I never remember which one. Somebody put something right in the center of the state. Anyway, I said, I just can't, I don't know what a train takes to go from here to Harrisburg, but I suspect that it's pretty long, and I also suspect that the times are always so absurd. I have taken the train from Pittsburgh, and they don't make it very easy. Let's put it that way. Or it doesn't seem to be very. I'm here getting some guesses. Let's see. Okay, what do we have? Milt says vaginal rejuvenation surgery.
Ew, no.
Jess says, ooh, no. What would that mean exactly? Vaginal...
Tighten it up. Maybe.
Tighten up the vagina? After you have kids to tighten it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Melanie says, I've heard the latest thing is a vaginal lift. Whatever that involves. Okay, so you guys are sort of heading into the same place. Now, I don't know if what it really is qualifies as a vaginal lift. I might have to get back to my own, my old wrinkled copy of Our Bodies, Ourselves left over from the 60s and take a look at female anatomy down there. But it's not vaginal exactly. It's not exactly vaginal. Because the ad doesn't say vaginal. I will say it says something reduction. Something reduction. It doesn't use the word tightening. I think this doesn't have to do so much with rejuvenation or lift as it has to do with aesthetics. But I might be wrong. Oh, God, I might be putting myself in a situation where you're all going to say, she doesn't even understand her own anatomy. But no, I think it's aesthetic more than anything else. Now, when you start worrying about the aesthetics of your... anyone else? I'm saying it is not. This does say blank reduction. What is it? Come on. I won't even give your names when just give me the guesses. I won't embarrass you any more than I'm embarrassing myself. Page 2, the Pittsburgh Tribune Review on Sunday. We all want to look and feel vibrant, youthful, and beautiful. However, our faces are just the beginning. I would say this. Any woman whose self-confidence is affected by the size, obviously, of a certain part of her body is a woman in need not of a surgeon, but of a psychiatrist. That would be my guess. Unless, again, I'm saying that I don't understand something. Okay, what we got here? Here's a guess. Oh, my God! You're not right, but oh, my God! Is it anal bleaching?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
You've heard of anal bleaching?
Well, in Bridesmaids, the movie.
In Bridesmaids?
Reference. Getting
Their
asshole bleached.
Their anuses bleached.
Mm-hmm.
May I? Excuse me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. May I ask why? Wait, we have a caller? Caller? Yes.
You know what it is, Lynn?
What is it?
It's labia, the lips.
That's it. It's labia reduction. You got it right. That is correct.
Women are crazy in the head. I told my wife they're going to the psychologist because they're having problems. I don't know what the hell's going on.
This is unbelievable to me.
People are crazy in the head. They're mashugana.
Mashugana, there's the word. Have you ever heard of anal bleaching?
I've heard of that.
What would be I'm sorry. I don't understand. Please help me understand.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I heard of it. I heard people crazy. They're crazy. Women are crazy nowadays.
Okay.
I don't know. I never heard of it.
All
I mean,
right.
another thing that kind of bothers me, Lynn, if you get on the subject, is a personal matter. What bothers me, a lot of women right now, they like to be shaved.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I'm 52 years old. That sickens me.
Why?
I don't like it. I don't like it. It seems to me it's pedophilia-ish. Like when I worked in a restaurant, a lot of the women, young women, they think it's normal. To me, it bothers me. A woman should look like a woman, not a kid. It really offends me. That's not right in my head. Now, I mean, people do what I don't go around asking people questions. Leave the body alone. What it's supposed to be like. Okay, don't be doing tricks to it.
Thank you.
My opinion.
I know,
in your
no.
face, men can shave their face. I shave my face, but don't be doing tricks to everywhere else. Okay, back, hair. I don't like it.
Okay.
But it seems to be a very common trend now.
I think it is. And I think if you talk to a lot of young people, if you talk to people in their 20s, I wonder if it's getting close to a really sizable percentage. And I don't think it's just women.
No, men do. I go to the gym, they do that.
They're all shaving.
What the hell is wrong with them?
Well, I think they're engaged in a lot of oral sex, is what I think.
I'm engaged in it too, but I don't want that. Still, I want the hair. I don't want no damn. I don't understand. It bothers me. I like women to look like women, not girls.
Not girls. Okay.
I mean, yeah, guys do at the gym. They shave their bodies, their hair on their chest. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
What am I going to do, Lynn?
What are you going to do? I don't know what you're going to do. You know, the good news is you don't need a labia reduction.
No, and I'm not kidding. No, and my wife doesn't need one either.
No, she doesn't need it either, and neither.
She's fine the way she is, and she's hairy. I tell her she's a very beautiful woman. I tell her all the time, and I mean that sincerely. I don't want no changes anywhere. You know, just be. That's what I tell her. I'm very happy. I'm happy that I age I am. I mean, I know the young kids are all. Everybody's Facebooking each other. Well, everybody Facebooks each other naked, too, now. That's another thing. I don't know what the hell's going on, or whatever they do.
Well, it's probably good you're as old as you are. Who cares, right?
That's exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
right.
am I going to do? Hey, it's good talking to you, Lynn.
Great talking to you. Thanks. Bye. I'm totally agreeing with him. You know, that is an interesting issue, the shaving thing, because he brings up a connection with pedophilia, and I'm not so sure that isn't part of it. I don't think a lot of people who are actively doing it are thinking that. But, yeah, think of that. That would then be making private parts look like a child's. Huh? I don't know. So, you think that's bull?
Andy thinks the same way, but I don't.
Oh, see, now, Jess, this is words from 20-somethings. Your significant other, male, thinks it's bull to shave stuff. You do not. No. Women, okay, so there's, okay. I'm going to go back to anal bleaching for a second. What the hell? What? Please, help me. What does that do? So it just makes it makes it white? What? Who cares? What the hell is that about? And who performs that function?
Salon spas.
Salons do that? You mean you can make I would like a massage, a pedicure, and to have my asshole bleached?
You should probably get it done with your Brazilian.
With your Brazilian, which is ripping every pubic hair out of a very sensitive part of your body. And then they turn you over and do and bleach your anus.
I guess.
Gee whiz! Oh my God, I got to take a break. We'll be back. Oh my God!
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen live after this.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a left.
You are not going to
Then what you're going to do is turn onto Marcy
and Brad
Avenue.
just broke up,
and go past the first
apparently
3
she's
lights
happy
and then
about
take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
then drive
think
5
she's
more
happy,
blocks
but
and you should be
who
there.
am I to judge, right?
Park on the
Anyway,
right.
That's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual holiday guide magazine is available now. Pick up one today for great holiday gift ideas from your favorite local merchants and restaurants. Plus George Takei, Diego Garcia, Out of the Furnace, and News of the Weird. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com. On your smartphone at citypapermobile.com and check out the new CP Haps app, available for download from the iPhone App Store and Google Play.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
You know what's funny? A lot of you are emailing, and you've got in the subject line anal bleaching, and whoever decides. I mean, those of you who emails come through normally, they're labeling them spam. I just want to tell the NSA I am not into anal bleaching, even though it appears that way on my. Okay, wait. And I do want to say this, that who was it who wanted, before I said labial reduction, it was, I think Aaron said, my guess is labia reduction, and I want credit. So he wanted, I think I'm giving it to you now. That's right. Aaron, I want credit if I'm correct. It's labia reduction. Yes, you are right. Here's Ray on labia reduction surgery. This is an unintended consequence of the yoga pants craze that has swept the soccer mom world. Are you kidding me? Because you're saying, because yoga pants are so tight, they fit so tight, that if you have, shall we say, large labial lips, that will show through your pants in a way that can fit. What?
Camel toe.
Camel toe?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I am so out of it.
That's not a new thing, though.
That's called camel toe. When you can see what?
Because it looks like a camel toe.
It looks like a camel toe. If a woman,
Pants are up too high.
if your pants are up too high, they create an outline that looks like
It's not your vagina.
a camel
It's
toe.
it's the pants' fault.
It's the pants' fault. It's not your vagina's fault.
Yeah, maybe.
It's nobody's fault. It's a what? Do you,
Don't wear the pants. I mean, all of my leggings do that. which
your
is
leg
not
when you put
long.
leggings on, if they're too tight,
I have
you
to
have
put on
the camel toe problem.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus God Almighty, what is happening to us? Okay, let me just get to a few other things here. Ricky on anal bleaching. I've heard of anal bleaching, but I've never heard of anyone common doing it. I know porn stars do it. Because, I mean, who the hell wants to look at a dirty anus? Well, what is... I just want to go on record as saying, I do not want to look at any anus, okay? Anuses, by their very... they're not attractive, I don't think. But then, that's my opinion. Dorothea, I've gotten you out of the spam folder. In these days of increased anal sex, anal bleaching is becoming more popular. The reason is because the anus takes on a darker pigment over time, and bleaching corrects this and makes that part a bit more presentable. Who says a whiter anus is more presentable than a darker one, though? I don't understand the aesthetics of that. And who decided that? Haven't you heard black is beautiful? Why is white preferable? Oh, I see, because it's just, white looks like clean. So, yes, have at my clean anus. Is that's sort of the if you were to put a sign. I'm sorry for anybody who is freaked by this, but I got this conversation started because of page 2 of the conservative Pittsburgh Tribune Review, as they tell us they are right here. So there's a whole bunch of women out there who are fixated on the size of their labia. There are other people fixated on the color of their anuses. And you know what I want to say to all of you to whom that applies? That is insane. That is stark raving nuts. Yeah, but I do think pubic hair is going away. I mean, I do think there aren't a lot of people who are like in love with pubic hair. I don't think. And generally, I think that pubic hair shaving thing is really taken off. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, thank God, a female voice.
This is Susan from Hempfield.
Hi, Susan.
I wanted to share with you a science article I read a few months ago.
Okay.
Biologists are worried about species extinction because a Brazilian wax is doing away with crabs. Can you imagine that?
Wait a minute. I thought the species they were worried about was us. Wait a minute. So because of, like, crabs live in pubic hair.
Hairs. Yes, and Brazilian wax does away with
all these little crabs
are disappearing. And biologists are worried about species extinction.
Who gives a damn about those crabs?
Biologists?
Well, but I know, see, that's just us in our speciesism. You know, we don't see the value in crabs, but the creator created them for something. They're part of some food chain somewhere, right? So if you take the crabs out, the whole thing might collapse.
Well, that was an interesting point I don't want to think about.
Yeah, but so then that is an argument for, if once you insert crabs, that's an argument for shaving.
Exactly.
It seems like it'd be a healthy thing to do then.
Okay.
All right, Susan, I can tell you're thinking, I shouldn't have called in. I shouldn't have called in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. All right. I had no intention of having this go on forever. All right. Jeez. Man. What a world. I don't even shave my legs. But then I want, just so I don't gross anybody out here, I got no hair. I don't know what that is. My sister and I, we call ourselves Wisconsin hairlesses. There's no hair. My mother doesn't have it either. Hello?
Hey, I'm calling to change the subject.
What? How dare you? What? What subject?
Well, I just wanted to say I saw Out of the Furnace this weekend.
Ooh, and?
It's a movie they filmed in Pittsburgh in Braddock.
In Braddock, yeah.
In Braddock.
It's getting very good reviews.
And it was very good, I thought.
Very dark and hard. I mean, it's not a happy movie.
No, dark and gritty. And part of it, if you ever saw the movie Winter's Bone about the meth lab
yes.
in Appalachia,
yeah.
Some of that. And it's, yeah, you don't enjoy it, but I thought it was very good. The acting by everyone was...
Well, you know, the actors in it, it's like a list of some of the greatest actors going right now, right?
Yeah, even the dad was played by Bingo O'Malley.
Oh, really?
I didn't realize till I saw the credits.
Oh, wow, Bingo. All right.
Yeah.
That's a local
and
actor.
It's funny, though.
Actor.
I thought they got so much right in the movie, being from here, but towards the end, the main character says, "Meet me in Braddock." And it's like,
oh, no!
Braddock.
He said Braddock?
Braddock, yeah. That's just, nails on a chalkboard.
But the reviews I've read have said that it's really, really good, but that it sort of some critics thought that it sort of loses its way at the end. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do want to see it, even though it's, I know, a difficult movie.
There's one thing that happens at the end. One of the characters loses their gun, and they don't explain that. Like, all of a sudden, he just doesn't have a gun. I don't know, but I'm sure that's not what the critics are talking about.
And I know there was a lot of confusion when they first came here to film, because I knew of the book out of This Furnace, I think.
Right, that's not it. Yeah.
Which is about Homestead, right?
Right.
And I knew they were filming in Braddock, and it all made perfect sense to me that they were doing something about, and that's not it. And the people who came up with that name for a totally different reason and didn't realize that there was a book of the same name, although I think there's a preposition difference. It's out of the furnace and out of this furnace. The movie's Out of the Furnace, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the movie review. Any other current movie reviews you'd like to share?
Well, I did see Philomena like 8 days ago. That has Judi Dench.
That's Judi Dench, and I've heard a lot.
A woman in Ireland trying to find a baby. She didn't really give it up for adoption. The Catholic Church
took it away. Yeah.
And that was really good too. And both films are about humanity, the best and worst of it.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard positives about Philomena as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
And I do want to, I think I mentioned the Dallas Buyers Club. Actually, yeah, both Tom and I did. There's some good movies out there now, which is not something you can usually say. There's some thought-provoking movies out right now. Okay. Time for a second break. I promise I'll move on. I don't know where I'm going. What?
Lynn Cullen Live.
Go to the all-new bergbargains.com for great deals on holiday gift cards from your favorite local restaurants, bars, museums, attractions, and shows. Log on now for great deals from Sephora, Atria's, Fair Day, P.F. Chang's, and Kohl's. Supplies are limited. The all-new bergbargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains, bergbargains.com.
Just in time for the holidays, Little's Shoes is your UGG headquarters. Little's has the largest selection of UGGs for men, women, and children to stay warm with shearling-lined boots, shoes, and slippers. Don't forget to get your hats, gloves, scarves, and more. Bring the entire family to view one of the largest in-store UGG shops in the U.S. All available at Little's Shoes, Pittsburgh's largest family shoe store. Forbes Avenue in Squirrel Hill or littleshoes.com.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Well, I don't really think there's time to do this thing now. I came upon a fascinating but very long, and what I really need to do is edit it before we get to you. And I promise I'm going to do that before, tomorrow or Wednesday or something. Many of you know that I'm a big fan of the Wire, which was a television series that's been off the air now for some time. But I mean, and I didn't see it when it was on. I watched it later, and I thought it was absolute brilliance. The author of that is a guy named David Simon, who lives in Baltimore, where The Wire is set, and who also I believe was a reporter for the Baltimore Sun. And he gave a speech, and part of the speech is excerpted in the Observer of Observer Sunday, which I think is London. Yeah. And in it, he talks a lot about what we've been talking a lot about. I mean, the first sentence being, America is a country that is now utterly divided when it comes to society, its economy, its politics. There are definitely two Americas. And he talks about the fact, he's not talking about the red and the, he's talking about the socioeconomic divide and how this is a land of opportunity still for some, and it is a land of hopelessness with barriers set up left and right for others and a growing number of Americans. And he has written, it is in some regard, it's an indictment of our current capitalism. And he's not arguing for, we always think in such Manichaean terms. Well, if you aren't for capitalism, then you must be for communism. No. But this love affair that has taken over our economic system of unfettered capitalism, that's the banner the Republicans march under. No government regulation. Don't regulate anything. You keep your hands off of the capitalists. And it has yielded, he argues, and I will argue too, a cruel system that has run roughshod over millions and millions and millions of people. Capitalism is the triumphant economic system. There is no doubt about that. And there's no getting rid of it. But what needs to happen, and this is what I've been arguing, is there has to be a pullback to a regulated capitalism so that, as the Pope says, and frankly, as the Pope before him said, it doesn't matter whether you are a theologically conservative like Benedict or socially aware like Francis. Popes invariably have condemned global capitalism in recent years because they see what it does. If you're on the end that's getting something, it's fantastic. But if you're on the end that is considered the chaff, you are screwed, and screwed big time. So Oh my God. Okay, so I'm gonna edit this because I found so many compelling thoughts that he had. Smart guy, and he's an angry guy, and I'd like to think sometimes I'm smart and angry too. But let's see if I can. I'm not gonna get into that now. What I am going to get into, if I can find it, is your emails, since they're still coming in. Okay? Joe writes, oh my God. Oh, I can't. He didn't write. He sent me a picture. Oh my God. This is about camel toe. The camel toe cup?
Oh, yeah, they make...
Oh, God, don't tell me, oh, yeah, they make those. What do you mean? The camel toe cup? So you can put a cup there so you don't show your camel toe? And I suppose modest people buy cups.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to advertise.
Or long shirts.
Or they... All right. Okay, we're not going there. Here's Ray, my own cynical theory. Oh, Ray's own cynical theory. As the hipsters have invaded Lawrenceville, I have come up with a theory to explain their appearance and wardrobe. If you have a small bird in a cage, you can entertain it by putting a small mirror in its cage, and they will while away the hours chirping to themselves. These young people have the same sort of narcissism. The men and women dress alike and walk alike and talk alike, so that it's like looking in a mirror. Just spend half an hour in the Brillo box, and you'll be looking for the newspaper on the floor. The only way to tell them apart is by the ironic mustaches. Okay, so that's your cynical theory, that if you shave all the body hair off and you dress alike and you sound alike and you walk alike, then everybody sort of, it becomes almost asexual. So, I mean, you're always looking at yourself, somebody that looks like you. I always thought that of Mick Jagger's first wife. I think it was his first wife, Bianca Jagger. Because the first time I saw a picture of the two of them together, I went crazy because they looked exactly alike. They looked like mirror images. And I thought, well, no wonder Jagger fell in love with her. Because it's like making love to himself. Oh my God. Ansel writes, Lynn, this is really quite the conversation for a Monday morning. I don't need the second cup of coffee because you have awakened me in more ways than one. Ah, God, Ansel, you find this talk arousing? I don't think so. So this morning, I have the choice between Lynn Cullen with labial lifts. No, labial reductions. And anal bleaching. Or I can listen to Glenn Beck talk about Obamacare and Iran. You still win. Yay! Thanks, Ansel. You made my day. Rob says, regarding the wrong pronunciation of Braddock, I say Braddock. He says Braddock natives always pronounce their hometown as Braddock. What? Braddock? I live in Braddock? No. Rob? You said Braddock? Is that I'm pronouncing it correctly according to your Braddock? Braddock. I don't know. I say Braddock. Myself. Whatever. Okay, one more thing. And it's not of a anatomical nature. This is this was an editorial, I guess, in today's Post-Gazette, and it alerted me to something I didn't know at all. So usually, by the time you read an editorial, they are editorializing on something you already have some knowledge of. And in this case, I learned about the thing from the editorial, so I obviously had fallen down on my duties to be on top of the news. And it is this. It's about Governor Corbett apparently has nominated a new head for the State Department of Environmental Protection. And as we know, I've said this for the last 30 years, when Republicans are in office, be they at the federal level or the state level, they invariably take the mission of whatever regulatory agency they now control and turn it upside down, so that with Republicans, the Department of Labor becomes the Department of Screw Labor. And the Department of Environmental Protection turns into the Department of Polluters Protection, and on and on and on. It makes perfect sense given what Republicans are about and what they're very open about. So this will not come as a surprise. I'm trying to remember why Corbett's last environmental head left, but I think it was under somewhat cloudy circumstances. Whatever, he screwed up. He did not, was not performing the job. So a new guy named E. Christopher Abruzzo was appointed the acting secretary, and now has been, nominated by the governor to be the real thing, to be the secretary of the State Department of Environmental Protection. And last week there was the first confirmation hearing of his appointment, and that was held by the Senate, the state Senate, I guess, Environmental Committee. I'm not exactly sure what the committee is. And here is one response that the guy who will probably soon be our new head of the Department of Environmental Protection. Here is what he said in answer to a question by Senator Dalen Leach from Montgomery County, who asked him, the secretary to be, about climate change. And here's what our soon-to-be Secretary of the Environmental Protection said about climate change. Quote, I have not read any scientific studies that would lead me to conclude that there are adverse impacts to human beings or to animals or to plant life at this small level of climate change. So, interestingly enough, what we have here is a guy who's obviously didn't say there is no such thing. What he said was, yeah, I guess there's this thing, but it's so piddling, so tiny, so nothing. But I haven't seen, can you imagine? I have not seen any scientific studies that would lead me to conclude that there are adverse impacts on flora or fauna. Way to go, Corbett. You done did it again. But this is what happens when you elect Republicans. I'm sure the environment is in very good hands and will be under the tutelage of a man who said what I just read. This guy has absolutely no background in environmental anything. He was the deputy chief of staff of the governor. and his background is as a prosecutor. By the way, the committee that heard what I just read during his confirmation hearing voted his nomination out to the full Senate on a 10-1 vote. So, just so you know, your next environmental protection secretary has never read a study which shows that there is any major impact to humans, animals, or flora from this piddling little global warming thing. Good God. Well, I think that's it for me, actually. I'm done in too, Ansel. I wouldn't say I'm... anyway, I'm glad that I won over Glenn Beck. But, well, sorry. I had no idea that the show was going that way. Now, granted, I'm the one who pulled the labia reduction thing out, but there it was. What they say, after the part I read you, by the way, says, pregnancy and childbirth are one of life's most rewarding and beautiful experience. However, some women experience frustrating side effects, and they're not talking about the baby screaming in the middle of the night and disrupting their sleep. They're talking about the fact that the labia they knew and loved have turned into monster. What?
Chipped ham.
Chipped ham? Chipped ham? I think since it's about reduction, they turn into like monster labia, and maybe they scare their sexual partners. Yeah, well, maybe they do. It's like, ah! Please, I'm making an appointment with you with an aesthetician, surgical aesthetician, and we've got to have those monstrous labia taken down a peg or two. All right, well, may your anuses be white. Isn't there like a holiday carol that we could fit that into? And may all your anuses be white. Oh, God, that sounded flat. But anyway, and may all your anuses be white. I think that's a fine way to say toodaloo.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.